Hi everyone, and welcome to week 3, day 6 of my book reading and review marathon. I'm Jennifer Roig-Francoli, author of the book Make Great Music with Ease, The Secret to Smarter Practice, Confident Performance, and Living a Happier Life. So in this book marathon, I am reading from my book, and I'm going to start today's selection from chapter 6, and starting from page 74. So in the last video, I read from this chapter and read, I read up to, I think, page 72 or 3, something like that. So I'm going to skip a little bit and start from a section called Performance Anxiety is an evolutionary and very common problem. Just a moment before I start reading, though, I want to have a very heartfelt, huge shout out thank you to everybody who has already sent in their reviews to Amazon. I am so grateful. I really, really, really appreciate the time that you're taking to either read part of the book or the 2-page summary that I'm sending out. If you don't have your free copy of the PDF format for review and you'd like to have that in exchange for writing a short review and posting it to Amazon, I'm very happy to send it out anytime before the end of the month. So without further ado, I will read from here, and then I'm going to do another request for a review, because that's part of why I'm doing this. This is where I read and hopefully encourage you to leave a review. But again, thank you so much to each of you who have already done this. We're at, I think, 80 reviews now, and my goal is between 100 and 150 by January 7th, which is when I go public about this book. And it's the big launch day. If you want to buy it, that's the day to buy it. So, okay, here we go. Performance anxiety is an evolutionary and very common problem. One of the most common reasons that musicians come to me for coaching is their difficulty in overcoming nerves triggered by the unnatural situation of performing in public. Stage fright could cause many of the symptoms that I've listed earlier in this chapter. Actually, you might want to hear what some of those are. So flipping back to page 73, all humans experience the above described all humans experience a fear-based response known as startle pattern and exhibit some or all of the following characteristics to one degree or another. Here's what happens when you're in a startle mode. The head is pulled down onto the spine, while the jaw juts forward in an effort to protect the vulnerable neck from harm. Overall muscular tension increases as the spine compresses, and the whole body goes into a generally compressed state. There's less blood flow delivered to the thinking brain, more to the musculature. The chest collapses, and breathing becomes shallow and restricted. Limbs tighten, including hands and feet, and the hips and knees can lock up. Stress hormones are released. The palms can become sweaty, and there can be an urge for elimination, urination, or defecation. The stomach can be upset. I'm going to go back now to page 74. So basically, stage fright can cause many of those symptoms I just read in the list. It's like a modern version of the kind of reaction our ancestors had to unknown potential dangers in the jungle. Imagine, and you might want to imagine yourself, since as you're watching this, I'm sure you're a musician too, and you've probably been on stage or at least played for someone else and probably felt a little nervous at some point in your life, I'm sure. In fact, please use the comments and the emojis on this video. I'd really appreciate your feedback. It's really helpful. It's also helpful for other people to know that they're not alone. So if you've ever experienced performance anxiety, you might want to just give a thumbs up or something, or thumbs down, or whatever you want to do. Thanks. So now imagine that a human being an animal without claws or sharp teeth. That's what we are. Imagine that this animal is placed in the middle of a stage. As she stands there, exposed and highly visible under a direct spotlight, hundreds of unfamiliar eyes watch her every move, waiting to see what she's made of. The space is hushed. Nobody else is moving. And she has no idea whether the animals out there in the audience are friends or foe. To this lone animal, vulnerable, surrounded by potential predators, it could be a highly dangerous situation. So it's only natural that her instinctive survival mechanisms are triggered and her startle pattern kicks in. Finding herself in such a situation, she will either gear up for a fight, make a beeline for the exit, freeze and try to look invisible, or hunker down into submission, hoping to avoid an unpleasant outcome. Of course, this human animal is not thinking rationally, but is simply reacting as her biology is designed to protect her under these types of circumstances. The problem is, if you suffer from stage fright, that human animal is you. The part of you that reacts to being seen and heard in front of an audience by going into a startle pattern starts in a part of your brain known as the reptilian brain. It's that part of you that is made to keep you alive when circumstances suggest that your survival is threatened. Happily, even though we have a reptilian brain, we also have a prefrontal cortex, this part. This is the newest part of our brains, evolutionarily speaking. This is the part of the brain where conscious thinking, such as planning and decision-making, takes place. Think of it as the throne room or the command control tower of your body, from where you can see the rest of yourself as if from above, observing your situation more objectively. This is the part of the brain that allows you to pause and consider your options before choosing to act. Although being triggered into a startle pattern is an instinctual animal reaction that happens quickly and below the level of consciousness, often too quickly for us to prevent it, once we notice that we've been triggered, we have the ability to override our animal instincts, for better or for worse, and behave differently from how our instinctual nature would have us react. I'm going to pause just for a moment and encourage you to click the like button if you're liking this. It's really, really helpful to get the emojis in the comments because then Facebook helps and shows the video to more people. Otherwise, only a few people get to see it. So you're not just doing that for me, you're doing it to help other people get to see this video if you like it. So I really do appreciate whenever you use the emojis or the comments, and it's more helpful maybe than you realize. So thanks. Okay, moving on. The next section of this chapter, I'm reading from chapter 6 from my book, Make Great Music with Ease, if you just came on. The book is technically available in paperback form on Amazon now, but actually if you want to buy it, the best time to buy it is January 7th because then it counts towards bestseller status. And then, of course, this is the book reading and review marathon. So I'm reading and then hopefully you will be reviewing. That's my hope. Okay, so here, what you need to know about stress and fear. I'm just reading this thinking how not too many years ago, I would have been absolutely terrified to be here live in front of all of you and just talking and knowing anybody could be watching. I used to be so terrified of speaking in public. It's ridiculous. I wouldn't do it. That's how scared I was. In fact, I wrote about that in the book. And Alexander Technique has completely changed that. I have no problem going live now and just talking spontaneously. In fact, I really enjoy it. So it's amazing to me. It still surprises me how easy it is. And yeah, if any of you are nervous about public speaking or you feel anxious around people in public at all, Alexander technique, especially the way I'm teaching it, called Primal Alexander, which is without touch. It's all about how you think and how that influences your body and your emotions. It really, really, really works. And I'm the living proof because I was really, really resistant to speaking in front of people. So there you go. So anyway, here we go. A little more reading. What you need to know about stress and fear. We can, in fact, respond to stress in two ways. The fear-based way I've described above is natural, instinctive, unconscious, and reactive, arising from our reptilian brain. The other way uses the prefrontal cortex to refrain from acting for a split second, which allows us to assess the situation and think intentionally, not necessarily verbally, choosing a different response that rises above the reptilian brain and is hopefully based on a more accurate interpretation of the situation. All of this can take place with lightning speed. Alexander called it, quote, quickening the conscious mind, end quote. This is really good news for musicians with performance anxiety, since it's obvious when you stop and think about it that performing in front of an audience is not, in fact, a life or death situation, no matter what your reptilian brain causes you to feel. It's hopeful news because it means you can overcome your fear and respond to the situation with more ease, presence, and creativity, instead of mechanically going through the motions just to get through the performance alive. By learning how to take charge of your thinking mind, you can redirect your thoughts and actually prevent your body from secreting more stress hormones, in that way influencing how you feel in your body and emotionally. Emotions are simply chemicals coursing through your bloodstream that alter how you feel in your body. And it's your mind that interprets those feelings and gives them meaning. It is entirely possible to change not only how you feel emotionally, but also how you react physically to certain circumstances by changing the way you think and assign meaning to what's happening. Consider this. You can actually only know you're nervous if you're experiencing certain physical symptoms that you label as nervous and undesirable. When you're nervous, you might experience anything from an increased heart rate, butterflies in your stomach, dry mouth, cold extremities, to shaking hands or legs, etc. If you don't have any physical symptoms, then you won't have the experience of being nervous. As Mio Morales says, quote, you can't have an emotion without your body, end quote. One of our biggest problems as human beings is that the unconscious brain doesn't know the difference between what we see as reality happening outside of ourselves and what we visualize in our minds and what we interpret these images to mean. This might seem outrageous, but it's been tested. It's true. This is why the vivid memory of traumatic events that did not happen to us, even violent images on a TV screen, can trigger us in much the same way as thinking about those events later. The unconscious doesn't see a difference between something real and something imagined. It's easy to whip up groups by focusing enough on scary, dramatic scenes. The reality is, what we fear more than anything is our own thoughts. And we especially don't want to trigger any painful emotions, either by hearing about a current event, like politics, or resurfacing a memory long hidden. Ultimately, we are afraid to know ourselves. We are afraid of what we might find buried deep within our psyche, and we fear taking responsibility for our own state of being, our reactions, our choices, our behavior. Imagine what could happen, we tell ourselves, if we tapped into the unknown. We are afraid of something that does not actually exist. That said, instinctual fear is human, and I'm not suggesting we get rid of it. The startle pattern, which is vital to our survival, is on our side, ever ready to help us fight, run away, freeze, or surrender in the face of a true threat. Instead, what we need to learn is how to, 1, detect the early signs of startle, and 2, recognize that we have the ability to respond differently to stress by drawing on our human specialty, consciously directed thought. We can pause for a split second, discern, and consciously choose what would be the best course of action. This, in turn, may actually take us right up and out of our fear response. Most of the stimuli that modern life presents us with are in fact not life or death threats. If we regularly practice close observation, pausing more often to check in with how we're feeling, we'll get a better sense of whether the startle-related tension we unconsciously carry around with us throughout the day is necessary. We can then realize our human, not animal, ability to overcome, quote, unduly excited fear reflexes, end quote. Also, we can experiment with a new way of thinking, not bound by those reflexes, that helps us find more ease, calm, and creativity in our activities. The next section of this chapter is called Some Typical Ways Musicians Deal with Performance Anxiety. And I think I'm going to stop there because there's so much more in this chapter. All right, I hope that you enjoyed this reading, and if you did, I'd be so grateful. I'm going to do my pitch again now. Please, 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 just take a few minutes to hop over to Amazon. Use the link in this post. It's up, down, wherever it is on this post, on this video. There's a link that'll take you straight to the Amazon review page. If you would just give your honest, unbiased review, I'd be just so grateful. It'll just take you a moment. It doesn't have to be a long review. You don't have to think about it too much. If you liked it, just say it's really great or whatever you want to do. Every single review is extremely important. And there are lots of reasons why, but mainly the more reviews that are there, the more the mysterious Amazon algorithm picks up and gets the idea that this book is worth sharing with other people. So Amazon will start to promote it once the book goes live in all formats on January 7th. That's why I have this marathon, I have this goal of up to 150 reviews by January 7th. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm showing up here and I'm reading for you. And I'm hoping you're loving the content. I hope you're finding it inspiring and interesting and useful information that then you can, it's food for thought, but then also there's so much that is practically useful in the book. Again, if you want a free copy and you don't have one yet, just reach out and tell me that you'd like to post a review, and I will send you a free PDF copy of the whole book so that you can look over that. And I will also give you a 2-page summary. You do not need to read the whole book to leave a review. In fact, you can just listen to these videos, and if you like what you're hearing, just hop over there, and you don't even have to read the book. You're hearing part of the book. So that's why I decided to do these videos, so that you can listen, you can hear it, you don't have to do the work of reading it, and you can still leave a review. So, all right, I think that's about it for today. Please, if you have any questions about anything related to this whole book project or the content, what I'm teaching, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach me through Messenger or send me an email or just use the comments below. And I can't tell you how much I really, really appreciate hearing from you. So in any way you want to reach out, I'm happy to have a chat with you. Thanks again. And thanks again so much to everybody who's already posted their review. I'm so grateful. Thanks again, and have a beautiful evening. I will make another review in the next few days. Sometime whenever these are spontaneous. If I don't do it before Christmas and you celebrate Christmas, I wish you a very, very beautiful Merry Christmas. If you're celebrating Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. If you just are enjoying the holidays, enjoy the holidays. And yes, lots of love to you. Bye-bye.